Hello, everyone. I'm Dylan Roberts with the Freelance Society Podcast, and today I was able to record with Emil Filtenborg, who is a journalist currently on the ground in Ukraine. He's been living there for some time before this current escalation by Russia, who are currently invading Ukraine. I did a previous podcast with Emil a few weeks back, and I'll have it listed below, give some more context of the situation. And we have a new episode with Emil that we recorded that gives an update on the situation, his take, how's it been reporting, and just the craziness that's been happening. But as we're recording, it seems like Russia will take over Ukraine, certain areas, even in the capital. Some people believe that the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv, will be taken in the next 96 hours. There's a lot of information that has not been reported on the eastern side of Ukraine, that's where a lot of the main front lines in the Donbass area. And we don't know how many soldiers, Ukrainian soldiers or Russian soldiers, what casualties there are, civilian casualties, because that area has been very dark. And even the images and information that are coming out, it's very hard to verify. And just keep in mind, this conflict is super complicated. This is not just a new thing. This has been going on for a long time. And it seems like Russia, from my point of view, has been planning this for quite some time. And who knows what the outcome is going to be like. And I hope the best for what's going to happen, but there's going to be some really scary, dark times here already happening. So that being said, this podcast with Emil has provided great insight what's going on, and please follow him, follow his colleagues that he's working with. I'll make sure to list different people to follow, different organizations, and it's up to you what you want to do, how you want to help, and so let's get into the episode.
Thanks for joining me here, and I know it's been very stressful, and if internet has a problem and everything like that, I think just send me a video file and just give me like your update if things are crazy. But
some reason we have had internet all day. We never expected that to happen. So
crazy. So walk me through, because I stayed up all night following, and it was crazy how social media literally gave you minute by minute of what was happening. And it was crazy how there's so many independent channels that are giving you really good information on the fly. So give me like the breakdown. Were you starting to hear, it was basically after Putin kind of released a statement, and then shortly after that, is that when things started, like around 4 a.m. your time, 5 a.m. your time?
I'd say 5 a.m. where I was almost exactly, because so yesterday, to start there, during the night, the two separatist republics, they requested official aid from Russia to repel the Ukrainian aggression. And immediately after that, we were walking back from a restaurant, and immediately after that, we read that on Twitter. Tweet was maybe 1 minute old or something like that. Immediately after that, military helicopters went into the air, and all these things started coming into work, like these martial law things and stuff like that. So I was pretty confident when that happened. I was pretty confident that tonight was going to be the night. So we go back to the hotel, and I was knackered. I was dead already. I've been out here for a month now. I'm like, I was like, I don't care. Like, if they're gonna throw cruise missiles at me, I'm gonna wake up. If it's just like, I don't know, if it's just like small millimeter stuff, I'm not gonna wake up, and I'm probably also not gonna die, so it's fine. So I went to sleep, had a shower, went to sleep. Then at 5 a.m. I woke up because the airfield in Kramatorsk where we were staying was getting bombed. At least three large explosions was heard from that direction. One of my friends, a guy I'm traveling with, not Stefan, but an Australian guy, Bryce Wilson, actually got one of these Grad missiles on a live in the morning.
Yeah,
I
I
think
saw
it's a
it.
Grad. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
insane.
watched it live. It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we we went out to check if we had a bunker because we also expected heavy bombardments to start. So we tried to find shelter. Turned out that the basement under our hotel was not open, and the guy who had the key was at work until 8.
Really?
Ain't that so
That
dumb,
time?
man? It's so dumb. The worst part is, like, 3 days ago, I did a story about bunkers not being ready for this, and the one place I didn't check, was my own hotel.
Yeah, hotel. Holy shit.
Nah,
Man, that's
that would have
crazy.
been
And
a
so,
Darwin Award for sure.
yeah, so it seems like you're with a group of all you guys are independent journalists, right?
Yeah, me and Stefan has since been on a daily rate with a Danish newspaper. Technically still freelance, but every day we work for them. So I mean, yeah, it's we can still do some crosses and lives and stuff like that for others, and file some stuff with others, as long as it's not uh, ruining the work we're doing for them. So yeah, it's a pretty sweet deal. Finally getting real pay for this job it feels
Yeah,
wonderful, man.
it's crazy how they all come back at you when things start going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame these guys. They already bought something ahead of this for a pretty decent price as well, actually. Yeah, yeah. So I don't blame those guys at all. I don't blame them for this. And then they were like, if this starts, you just, we set the meter running, and you just charge per day, and we figured out a price that everyone could live with. Um, I cannot disclose it, but yeah, so that was pretty
Yes.
cool. I have a large issue with those guys who come around like, hey man, uh, could you maybe file something for us for like 160 euros? Like, people have been asking me to write articles for them today for these kind of prices. I'm like, nah, man. Like, usually I would do it if I didn't have any, like, work or something. But this is I've also never been in this situation before, and I must admit, like, even 1 month ago or something, when we spoke, or like 3 weeks ago when we spoke last time, uh, I was I felt pretty certain that it was coming, and I've been mentally preparing for this. But I don't know what to say about this. I don't know how to, like, I cannot grasp the scale of this, the magnitude of this.
Yeah, I've
I
been
mean,
seeing reports that like Ukraine, the capital could fall in the next 96 hours or even
yeah,
sooner.
yeah, 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 which would effectively render me homeless.
That's right. Man,
I
that's
just
crazy.
hate it when my apartment doesn't have the right visa. Um, I mean, no, and I like, of course, we knew immediately it was going on, and what was going on, and it was happening. We pretty quickly found out about the attacks on Kharkiv, and then we knew that this was the full package. Um, then me and Stefan, we wanted to do some more work from Kramatorsk before leaving because we figured we had time, but we ended up striking a compromise for safety with some guys we've been sharing a driver with, which is, I mean, it's all right. It's all right, but yeah. So now our current plan is we're in Dnipro now. So now our current plan is to get a car early in the morning tomorrow. We have found a guy who's willing to sell us one, and then get out of here because right now we have Russians on three sides. We have them north in Kiev, south in Crimea, and east in eastern Ukraine. So
Has there been reports of Russia only focusing on Ukrainian military, obviously, but are they have they
um,
been just focusing on that, or are they is there rumors of them other than like accidental or civilians, but like I saw a crazy video of CNN with the Russian soldiers. I don't know if you've seen that video.
yeah, I saw it. I
Uh
saw it. Yes.
I was like, what? I was kind of in shock. So
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you've heard rumors of once they're trying to control areas. I guess they're just going to focus on Ukrainians. It's obviously you never know what's going to happen, and the army's so big that you can't really know what brigade or what unit is going to do what.
So also another thing that's so insane about this has been going on now for what is that? 16
Not,
hours.
yeah, not 24 yet.
16
Yes.
hours. 16
Yeah.
hours and yeah, it's crazy. My plan right now is to wait for 10 hours, which is almost half of like I don't know. No, so why? The information we've been getting, you said it right that there has been a lot of good information on social media, but there has also been a lot of very bad information. Like it has been really hard for us to get the full image of what's going on. There are things though that I'd say blind spots that I would say is are pretty showing a lot. For instance, we know about the attack on Kharkiv. We know about the attacks on Kiev. We know that there have been attacks from Crimea. So all these things we know for certain. We have no clue what's going on the front lines. All these cities that me and Stefan have been traveling to for the last month, we have no clue.
It's dark.
Yeah, completely. I mean, there's still coming so me stuff out of these battalions and brigades there, so they're not wiped up. We have local contacts that that are telling us that they're holding government sources that tell us that they are holding the line. But in terms of the shelling and of how bad it has been of these frontline cities, we have no clue, man. And that really scares me a lot. And I hope that it's like in the rest of the country, because to me, actually, I know this is gonna sound weird, but because of all the circumstances leading up to this and the fact that this war is happening, but to me, it seems like Russia has been playing a pretty straight up game in terms of the targets they've had. Kramatorsk has not been ultra shelled. Like they haven't gone for government buildings or anything. Not that we know of. Not when we left. They didn't do like mass bombarding of police stations and infrastructure. They hit the airfield, which is a military airfield.
Yeah, they hit like
Same
every
thing.
airport. It's kind of crazy.
Everything.
They were hitting
Everything.
every airport.
And the same goes here in Dnipro. The city has not been bombed. There has been rocket strikes here, but the city itself has not been. You know, it's not like they've been flying bombers over the city and wiping it out. So this is. I don't want to give too much credit to the Russian army for this because I think it would have been avoided if the Russian army had stayed at home and that's extended to Putin, right? This is a invasion, and it's so clearly invented
It was very
in the
well
Kremlin.
planned.
Yeah, and but with all that said and all those things considered, I'd say that actually the civilians, from what I gather, have been spared pretty much. But again, we're 16 hours into this. We still have a lot of stuff that is not confirmed. We have no clue how many soldiers have died. Um,
Yeah, some of those images are those you can tell they're carpet bombing certain areas, and I'm just
yeah,
like, I don't know. Like you haven't. There's like you're guessing on Twitter of seeing reports of here, but there's no way of knowing until all this is over. But
no,
and I mean, there's not. I don't think there's that many journalists embedded with the military units, and if they were, I mean, that would be insanely dangerous. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, some of those
I wouldn't
videos
want
of
to
all
do
these
that.
airstrikes. Oh yeah, some
Mm.
of all these videos of airstrikes and carpet. They who knows what that east side or the eastern part of those front lines are really like.
Like everything I'm saying right now about these like broad strokes has to, the smoke has not cleared yet, literally. So I'm not I'm not at all sure that what I'm saying is actually true. It just seems to me this way. Um,
What do you think civilians are trying to do? Do you think they're trying, the ones who want to flee, are they trying to go to Poland? Are they trying to go to Romania or just stay out west? You're seeing images out of Kiev of just crazy traffic jams, and I know
yeah,
gas is probably, yeah.
we've seen that today as well. Like crazy lines for the gas stations. We didn't have as much traffic out east, but again, the people in eastern Ukraine, the people who from these areas where we are evacuating from, they are usually much poorer than the rest of the country. A lot of them don't have this option. Um, Running is a luxury not everyone can afford. But yeah, we saw insanely long lines for all gas stations, long lines for all ATMs, supermarkets. I mean, things are definitely. We met a guy today that we interviewed 2 days ago, and he was 2 days ago he was like, no, it's not gonna happen. No chance. Like never ever is this even a possibility. And he was shattered today. Like it felt like when like you just took out the foundation of everything he believed and then pulled it out from him, and like suddenly had to deal with the fact that Russian tanks were actually pointing at him with the intention of rolling that way, right? Um,
You're saying that the eastern, for those villages near the front lines, you would say most of the civilians probably didn't leave in time.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, but the same thing goes for Kiev, man. I mean, I have friends who are still stuck in Kiev. Friends that I told 2 weeks ago take a vacation to Lviv. I mean, if you would like if I would ask you in any other circumstance take a vacation to Lviv, you would be like, oh man, that sounds amazing. But they're all still there, and we have pretty solid report. We have seen dogfights over Kiev today. I mean, how insane is that? That you have dogfights? Do you
Yeah, I
even have
saw.
dogfights anymore? Like,
I know. I didn't even know there was a thing.
okay,
I thought it was just like video games.
yeah,
Yeah, I saw a video. It looked like a MiG in a Russian. I don't know what kind of plane they have, but they look like they were going at it.
yeah.
It's
I mean,
crazy.
so definitely people were not prepared for this at all, and I think many people have also been, very trying to be very stoic about it. And I think for a lot of the people in in eastern Ukraine, they have been very for a long time very fatigued and very just sick of it, tired of it, just apathetic, really, like given up. Nah, like okay, so if I die this time, I die this time. What can I do? And a lot of people in eastern Ukraine have been very scared. But I've talked to so many people from Kiev, friends from Kiev, who are like, no, I will not leave. I will stay here. This is my home. I'm so like they cannot hurt me and stuff like that. And then the first cruise missiles start coming in, And man, when it's the first time you can feel that just within like 5 kilometers of you, and you know this as well. First time you feel an explosion like that, you're like, I thought it was only the sound. When it
No, it
starts,
makes you feel vulnerable. It makes you feel like you're in someone else's hands a lot of
you're
times.
completely like you're it's statistics. You know there's a grid somewhere, and they're firing after that grid, and you don't know if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. And the first time you have to run for shelter in your life, the first time you try that, you really understand what's going on. And I don't think they were ready for this. People in Eastern Ukraine, yeah, sure, they've tried this before. Even many of the kids, but people in like central Ukraine, people living here in a city like Dnipro, I simply I don't think they knew what was coming for them. And we had this group of Danish expats as well, and I mean, to see how they were like, I also advised all of them to just get out. I mean, why take the risk? And why take the trauma if you're not doing this work, and if you have no resources of how to treat your mental health, and in the first, even if you survive, any skills to survive this, why take the risk? But they wouldn't listen, because they were like, no, we have to stay here with the Ukrainians and show them that we support them. And where are they now? They're all stuck on a highway just west of Kiev, and some of them are still stuck in Kiev and panicking as well. And I simply don't think, and I think a lot of it is is uh, is a problem with journalism, because if we had managed to describe the actual thing that war is, and if we didn't blow up stuff that blow up minor conflicts as world wars here and there, we haven't had done this, and that we had made people understand what was going on, we would have avoided a lot of risk and a lot of pain now. But I don't know. I'm also tired. I don't know.
I imagine you probably haven't slept in a while.
I had 5 hours of sleep yesterday and 3 hours of sleep the day before that. I'm running on steam, man. Pure fumes.
You're going on energy drinks and cigarettes, probably.
Cigarettes, yeah, mostly.
Yeah, that's usually what it is. Yeah,
they're light. I need to watch my figure. Like,
if I were to say this like any time other than now, but I'm like, is Russia really going to control majority of Ukraine? And it's kind of crazy that it's starting to look that now. I'm still going to be hesitant of. I don't think they stay, but now I don't know. No one knows. Now everything's up in the air. They can do. I'm sure they're looking at option A, option B, option C at this point.
I don't think they are. I think they've had an option A for the long time. You don't accidentally put up like 200,000 soldiers and then prepare an attack force and then start marking your stuff like an invasion force and then invade and then be like, what am I gonna do with this? Russia has taken such a hit today, 50% on the stock market exchange in Moscow or St. Petersburg. I don't know where the exchange is actually, but like they have to be in for a penny, like in for a penny, in for a pound for Russia. Why would they take half of it and then just be like, oh, by the way, you can have all of this back. We're just gonna keep Donetsk and Luhansk.
Crazy.
What's the purpose of that?
Yeah.
And this is also another problem I've been having for the past month. More actually is like I've been looking at this and I cannot see any reasonable explanation, like any logical decision that would be behind invading Ukraine and taking half of Ukraine at a minimum. I cannot for the life of me see what they want with it. You know, how is that going to work out? How is what they're winning on the battlefield, how is that ever going to make up for what they're losing on all the sanctions and the soldiers' lives? And we see now protests starting in Russia. The, you know, people being angry, like what all these things that this war is costing Russia right now. What, how are they ever going to get that investment back? I, I cannot see it. And that's the main argument that everyone that has been saying that no, Russia would never do this. They would never invade. They have been saying because they have nothing to win from this compared to what they would lose. And here we are in the middle of an invasion, like dogfights over Kiev. and
Russian
now
troops
now we
parachuting in.
yeah, man, parachuting. What, paratroopers? Is that something we do anymore?
Crazy. Only special
And
forces do that. Yeah.
yeah, or just Russian forces. But now we stand in this situation again where we stand and say they must have some different scenarios they're looking at, because logically they cannot keep Ukraine. Well, logically they wouldn't attack Ukraine. I mean, I don't know. I'm so confused right now. I don't know what to say about the politics of these things. I know these things, like these people have been saying that Putin is losing his mind, or that he's trying to recreate the Soviet Union and stuff like this. But I really don't know what to say about it. So I think I'll just stick to what I know and try to understand what's going on right now, which is,
Just
yeah,
report what you can. Yeah, what you know and what you can. Yeah, it's been I've been getting all my news from independent people.
yeah. I mean, there are a lot of good people out there.
And like, similar to like Popular Front and Atlas News, who
Yeah,
Real News No Bullshit is one of my favorite ones. Um, they just have they just have very good connections, know how to find the right material, and they post it pretty straightforward, and they correct it pretty
yeah,
fast if something's incorrect. And it's crazy. All like you went from like you know uh, your following has increased, and that just shows the power of independent media, and people want to see what's going on from you, from on the
yeah,
ground reporters.
yeah. So I think I had like 800 followers on Twitter today when I woke up, and then I tweeted that war has started. Uh, Explosions in Kramatorsk. This is it. And now I have 7,000 followers.
Oh my gosh.
So I guess I'm a real person now. I mean, I
You're
cannot
right, yeah.
I cannot shitpost anymore. But oh fuck, I have
Yeah.
to go and delete my old tweets and stop swearing when I'm on the podcast. But uh, same with my Instagram. It has gone from, I think, I'm not kidding you. I think 180 to 2,600 or something in the last 2 days. Like it, I'm literally, as a person now, I'm literally a small media outlet. It's I wasn't that yesterday, and it's something I have to figure out what to do with when I I get some rest and I get to safety. I mean, now I'm falling between two chairs because I'm one of the independent, you know, journalists on Twitter, but I'm also mainstream media. So I don't know, like whichever team you're rooting for, I'm on it, man.
No, I think it's just comes if you're authentic and real, that's what people are looking for. It doesn't matter even if you work for another company. It's like people just want
Yeah,
authenticity and um and I'm glad you guys are staying safe, and I know the situation is going to be super, it'll change in minutes. A lot of people are we want to watch what you guys are doing, and that just shows the power of what's going on right now. The only time that I've put on live stream is Al Jazeera. I'll watch on live stream in between where I'm just constantly refreshing my Instagram and Twitter feed of only accounts that I follow. And
Yeah,
when they're
it's
not
also
yeah.
no,
So
sorry,
that's what I've
you
been
just
doing. Yeah, no, and that's what I've been doing. So
yeah.
keep up the good work, man. I know.
Thanks. It's also it's one of the things that has changed drastically and for the better in this war journalism thing, right? It back in the days in war journalism, like a really long time ago, uh, you would go as a journalist and you would be like, oh, Baghdad is taken, or you would go and say the trenches at the Somme has been overrun, right? And that would be the war journalist's job primarily. That would be war journalism back in the days. But now, because of social media and the internet, and luckily we have internet right now, which is beyond me, but we have internet. No. I'm so confused. I don't know what to believe. But we have internet and we have so much footage coming up, and we have some extremely talented people sitting on these behind these Twitter profiles doing all these verifications and geolocations and stuff like that. We have so much stuff with like movements of hardware and what this means and like have they taken Kharkiv or not. This comes so fast now from just open source social media material that the war journalist is not like he just has to know that Kharkiv has been taken and then he can say that, but he don't have to go to Kharkiv to check that. Instead, now he can spend his time getting to safety or like talking to the victims of the war or asking questions to the people who decided on this war. Probably not this war, but wars in general, and so the war journalist has become more than just like a daredevil who tells about practical things of the war, like how's it going, status reports like a sports reporter, but actually doing stories about actually human beings. And that's in the reason that I think that war reporting is better in mainstream media today is largely because of all the independent people sitting on around. I don't know where they are, even like sitting around in the OSINT community doing all these things. So I think it's like war journalism is one of the few places where mainstream media um, and these private accounts doing all this uh, where they work really well together. Like when I post that I hear planes over the sky in Kramatorsk, which I did yesterday evening, it was picked up by so many people who tried to verify this and like figure out what it was. Um, and so I know that I was I was a mainstream journalist at the time, but it could have been anyone. Like they could have, if anyone had posted the sound there instead, which would be more useful now that I look back at it. But if anyone had posted that sound, it would be identified, and verified, and everyone would know, and no one has to go to Kramatorsk to find out that there are military helicopters in the air over Kramatorsk. So the journalist can do something that's more valuable, something that journalists are better at doing, actually. So I think this is really interesting times to be a war journalist, not only because we have the biggest land invasion since World War II, which is also insane.
Yeah.
We haven't had anything like that in Europe for 80 years, literally 80 years. Like
Crazy.
my grandfather was 6 last time we had this.
That's insane. Oh my gosh. Well, do you have anything? We can cut this here pretty soon. Do you have anything you wanna say before anything that I missed?
Nah, I mean, of course, I'm very happy for all my new followers, and I also think everyone should follow you, since now apparently I'm a kind of guy who can give out followers. I don't know, and yeah, I hope that people know where to go to if they want to support me financially. which a lot of people have been asking how to do. I don't need the money right now because I'm pretty well paid right now. So I recommend people to send this money to something like the Rory Peck Foundation, or I don't know if you're doing something that that needs money like this, but something that helps other freelancers get going, because it took me 3 years to get where I am now. So and I could have used a lot of help on the way, so I didn't have to rely on luck and legwork. But yeah,
I'll
so
make
that
sure
I think
to
those
add.
are my finishing remarks.
Yeah, I think I'll make sure to add of or people or organizations that I've come across that, if people want to send funds, or support, such as not just sending funds but follow and share their story, which is, during this age of information, that's key. People finding the right information.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to do that. So thanks, Emil.